Hi, I'm Ryan,
I'm Connor.
I'm Josh.
and we're here to tell you about the economic titan Coca Cola.
We are going to convince you that Coca Cola had the biggest impact on U.S. history.
We're going to cover the three main impacts of Coke: marketing, cultural, and innovation.
So hunker down and get ready to have your mind blown.
I'll set the scene. In 1886, John Pemberton, a doctor, created the formula for Coca-Cola. To him, it was a worthless invention that seemed to have no future, or so he thought. A clerk by the name of Asa Griggs Candler was more than willing to take the formula off his hands. For $500, his life savings, Asa bought the formula from Pemberton. Little did he know that what he had bought would change the world forever, and in 1892, Asa became the owner of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is, to the public's perception, a seemingly ordinary, all-American company. However, many of us do not realize the impact it has on our advertisings, marketing, and convenience. Without Coke, many of the modern marketing strategies would not exist, nor would certain cultural influences, such as the popularity of the images of Santa Claus and Charlie Brown. Also, without Coca-Cola's innovation, many facets of fast food would not exist, such as the vending machine, six-pack, or soda dispensers.
Josh here. As the drink grew in popularity, people wanted to enjoy the drink everywhere. Joseph Biedenharn, the owner of Biedenharn Sweet Shop, wanted to bottle this drink to make it available for customers in other places. Before this, Coca-Cola was only served in dedicated Coca-Cola stores and was made from a syrup mixed with carbonated water that the bartender would prepare. Eventually, Asa Candler, the owner, was convinced to share the rights to bottle Coke for a contract of only $1. This deal allowed Coke to be served everywhere and increased Coca-Cola's influence across the country and eventually the rest of the world. However, how did this small-town drink gain its notoriety and popularity from sea to shining sea? Well, Asa was an ingenious man. He created one of the most innovative marketing techniques to promote his brand, hiring traveling salesmen to pass out coupons for free Coke. His objective was to introduce the flavor of his product on a larger scale, and for years to come, many other companies followed suit. Asa was also the first to use logos on the faces of clocks, calendars, posters, notebooks, and bookmarks as forms of advertisement, all of which increased the familiarity of Coke. This sparked a revolution in competition for product marketing and branding. Coca-Cola realized its need for recognition and began to sponsor sporting events, specifically the two biggest sporting events in the world, the Olympics and the FIFA World Cup. By using these sporting events, Coca-Cola was able to increase its worldwide influence. These partnerships also set the precedence for advertising in a sporting event. While Coke continued to bombard customers with visual ads, in the 1970s, Coke introduced a new marketing technique known as neuromarketing. The theory was that the lateral prefrontal cortex in the brain, the portion that is responsible for memory, stimulates the impression of substance rather than the actual flavor. This is the theory Coke based its production off of after the 1950s. During this time period, Coke launched the Cola Wars, otherwise known as the Ice Cold Wars. While Coke continued to dominate the beverage market, during this time, Pepsi Cola began to take off. As a response to this, Coke and Pepsi challenged each other to a taste test and a race to release the most products. This is when the principle of neuromarketing was applied. In a market study, researchers found that the majority of people who were drinking Pepsi had a larger neurological reaction compared to Coke. However, when people were asked which was which, they chose the sample that was Pepsi, mistaking it for Coke. When they were told which was which, the researchers found the majority chose Coke over Pepsi despite the results of the reaction. While more should have supported Pepsi and more of the market share should be in their hands, the idea of neuromarketing kept customers loyal. In hindsight, the good feelings you remember about Coke or have experienced with Coke is what stimulates your actual reaction to the flavor of Coke. In other words, Coke could radically change the flavor of Coke, but the entity of Coca-Cola branding keeps you happy.
Connor here. While Coca-Cola's advertisements made the brand name popular, they had to find new ways to make Coke convenient to serve and buy. Their solution? Invent better ways to promote and serve their brand. Their first movement was in 1923 when they introduced the six-pack, revolutionizing the way drinks could be carried. This six-pack encouraged consumers to drink more and allowed them to bring it home. Something as plain as an ordinary six-pack probably does not sound like much in our modern world, but in those days, it revolutionized all preconceived knowledge of packaging and selling for bottling. This six-pack changed the way we package drinks and to consume them. Every drink today is packaged in groups, not singularly. Through the mass production of group packaging, Americans now expect other companies to create ways to package their products in a more convenient manner. Coke really blazed the trail of convenience and mass consumerism. In 1929, Coca-Cola introduced the open-top cooler, making it possible for people to enjoy a cold beverage in retail outlet. This design was later approved onto an automatic coin-operated refrigerator, also known as a vending machine. Because of this, vending machines are used for quick, easy access to receive a cold beverage everywhere. Vending machines have never become obsolete regardless of the economy and still remain today. Coke's version of the vending machine is what inspired the creation of other vending machines that sell food and technology. Examples of this would be Redbox or the ATM. In 1933, Coca-Cola also presented the first automatic fountain dispensary, which poured ready-to-drink Coke without the assistance of an attendant. In modern times, most all restaurants have soda dispensers and have become one of the largest selling points. Now, costly servers and bartenders can be replaced by machines. Following the theories of the assembly line, Coke maximized its production by replacing workers with machines and led to the creation of an automated consumer economy. As America entered the age of household appliances, Coke was forced to innovate to accommodate the rising trend of convenience in markets. During the 1950s, Coke introduced king size, a 12-ounce bottle, and family size, 26-ounce bottle, in addition to the normal 6.5-ounce container, the classic bottle. The idea was to help the average female to shop and produce the bargain buy mentality. Instead of having to haul around the large, bulky six-packs, they could buy a single bottle to feed the whole family. This was unprecedented for bottle companies and began the trend of supersizing portion sizes, something we see today with fast food. Such trends in fast food have statistically raised portion sizes by 2.5 times from where they were in the 1950s. While Coke's innovation led to such devices that made it easier to consume, it created the means in which food production could be fast, efficient, appealing, and cheap. Coke has changed our expectations on what we expect of our food. We want more for less, and such mentality has led to the obesity epidemic that we face today.
Ryan here. Perhaps the most unique thing about this beverage is its ubiquity. It has been constant throughout the 20th century. It has been the drink that has refreshed generations with the same logo, the same colors, and generally the same flavor. Though we probably never really thought about it much, Coke is the American drink. But how did such a minor thing become such an icon of American culture? Well, we would have to start with Christmas. The Santa Claus we all know and love didn't always look the way he does now. This big jolly man wearing a red suit with a white beard used to be a tall slim man dressed in a bishop's robe and animal skin. While Thomas Nast was the first to create an image of Santa Claus, it was Haddon Sundblom who conceptualized the modern version of Santa for the figurehead of Winter Coke. From this ad, Santa's image has been used in popular media. Santa's popularity and influence over mainstream Christmas has created a counterculture to the traditional Judeo-Christian Christmas. Santa Claus has shifted the focus more from the birth of Jesus to a jolly old flying fat guy delivering presents once a year, turning a holy holiday secular. While many continue to celebrate the traditional birth of Jesus Christ, Santa has elbowed his way into the Christmas spotlight. In 1965, Coke struck again in an effort to reinvent its Christmas advertisements. They hired cartoonist Charles Schulz and sponsored him to create a Charlie Brown Christmas. The animated classic touched the hearts of millions and ever since then has been a rerun every Christmas since 1965. It even caused people to turn the popular trend from the use of aluminum Christmas trees to real trees. Coke also adapted itself into other events in U.S. history. Up until the 40s, Coke remained an American-based company. While it was large in the United States, its presence outside the U.S. was minor, but all that changed when we entered World War II. Coca-Cola began its campaign to refresh our fighting forces. 6 months into the war, Coca-Cola opened the first plant abroad, and more than 5 billion bottles of Coke were consumed by the military alone. Besides serving the military, Coke has followed each pursuit with dispensers and mobile self-contained units, allowing the taste of Coke to be experienced by countless local civilians living in these battled areas. Coca-Cola did more than just raise the morale of troops. The expansion of Coke spread demand across these war-torn areas, growing its popularity and influence across the world. More than on, Coke became a permanent part of American life.
Unlike other brands and companies, Coke has become Americans' comfort drink. Its use of advertising has evolved itself to reflect American society and has become a ubiquitous symbol of comfort and familiarity for Americans and an embodiment of the spirit of American ideals worldwide.
Whether intentional or not, Coke has shaped American culture and has maintained a product which is both quality and convenient. Their moves to make Coke popular has created a culture which expects food production to be quick and easy, with things such as the vending machine and six-pack. It has become an aid to national morale and made popular Charlie Brown and Santa Claus, both pillars of mainstream Christmas.
When we think of major events in our history, we think of war and conflict, but not of soda. Many of us do not realize the extensions of influence Coke has had over our past and present, but as a company that has been established generations, it was the drink of our fathers, grandfathers, and great-grandfathers. Coke has become the symbol of the little things that make life good and happy. This brown fizzy drink truly has become happiness in a can. So ask yourself, are you thirsty for a Coke?